You built the career, you built the family, you built the life, and something still feels wrong. Not broken, just wrong. If this landed with you, I want you to stay with me. I'm 40 years of age at the time, and most would consider that I'm living the dream. I live in a beautiful house in a beautiful area, have a beautiful family who love me dearly. I have amazing friends. I have a successful business. Yeah, I feel lost. I feel miserable and I feel incredibly lonely. And I can't put my finger on what it is. We hear this buzzword, midlife crisis. Maybe it was a midlife crisis, but I know it's not. Yeah, I wasn't out to go and get a motorbike. I wasn't going to get a new tattoo. However, I do put just for men in my beard, but it wasn't a midlife crisis. And I like to look at other problems it could have been. And there was a big buzzword going around called burnout. Yeah, a lot of people suffering burnout. And there was no way I was ever going to be suffering burnout, at least admitting it anyway. So I took some rest. Yeah, because that's what you do when you burn out. You take rest, you recover, you come back fresher, full of great energy. So I did that, and the feeling was still there. My wife and my daughter were watching television, and I can't stand fake TV on Netflix. I can't stand a good old sitcom. I can't stand any of that. I can watch reality stuff or educational stuff, but nothing which is what I consider false. So I take myself off to my bedroom with the thought of getting lost in an educational YouTube video. Yep, getting lost in someone else's life. And I get to my bedroom, lie on the bed, and I can see my phone battery is pretty much dead. So there's nowhere to hide. So I just lie there in deep thought. And I've got my family meters away from me. Yet I am incredibly lonely and incredibly lost. And I question everything. I question my marriage. Yeah. But that was fully aligned. So it wasn't my marriage. I question my business. And even though there are issues within that business where maybe I've outgrown and my alignment's outgrown, it wasn't the business. And I questioned many other things and couldn't find any answers. But when I stopped and thought about it, I didn't really know who I was anymore. I had become a different person from all those years ago when I first set out into adulthood. My identity has changed. I didn't know who I was, what I wanted, and what was meaningful to me anymore. And I needed to find my new identity. Yeah, because in life, when you are building a business, you get very lost. Yeah, you go into your own world of ambition. Yeah. And you can you can take you away from your roots. Yeah, it can take you away from what you really are because it's hard work. Yeah, it's hard work working for yourself. It's hard work being successful. It's hard work. Yeah. And it's like, get the violin out. And this is what I was always telling myself, always saying there's a lot of people worse off than you. Yeah, I still had these feelings. But life can also hit you from different angles too, especially when you lose a parent. I lost my dad 7 years ago. And they say when you lose a parent, a piece of you dies with you. And when I lost him, I felt like, even though I was 30, 34, I felt like I grew up a lot. Yeah, I lost a piece of me with him, but I grew up at the same time, even at 34 years of age. And mix that with building a business, raising a family. Yeah, you can get lost in that hurricane and that whirlwind. And a lot of men don't talk about this. A lot of men sit there wondering. A lot of men think this is a midlife crisis. I can assure you it's not a midlife crisis. So if it's not a midlife crisis, what is it? Well, it's something I've named the drift. You drifted away from the person that you really are. Maybe as you built a successful career, maybe as you built a successful business, maybe as you built your family. Yeah, you drifted away from that identity. And it's an identity where it's a new person you need to get to know again. And if it wasn't for my phone dying on the bed, I would have not started my rebuild on getting to know who I really am again. And I can honestly say, after working on this for the last year, my rebuild, that light is at the end of the tunnel. The feeling is disappearing. I have my energy and my ambition back. I have direction in life back. I have the balance in my life from work and family back. And this is a rebuild which anybody can achieve. Okay? And life can take you off track. Bereavement, yeah, that is a big thing. As I've said before, that affected me dearly. Just building a family, no matter how happy it is, it can take you away from who you really are, and your career and your business. That can certainly throw you in a direction you never expected to. But it's very easy to get lost these days. Yeah, it's very easy to lose ourselves in other people's life, especially with social media, where if we take the silence and actually identify our issue, called the drift, then that's when you can really start to rebuild who you really are and get to know the new you and get to live a happy life being the new you. Please leave a comment in the comment box below of something you feel like you've drifted away from in your life, and subscribe to the channel because there'll be lots of videos on stories related to the drift and how to rebuild your life to live your best life again.